like to call this meeting of the Harriman City Council February 15th, 2022 to order. Before we get started, we'll have a prayer by Councilman Wright, followed by the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Councilman Wright.
Join us in prayer, please. Our Heavenly Father, as we assemble for this council meeting tonight, we thank you for allowing each of us to be here and participate. Father, may your Holy Spirit guide us and protect us as we carry out our business. Give us the wisdom and courage to do our business in a manner that will be pleasing to you. We give thanks and pray for the safety of our employees and their families as they carry out their duties and responsibilities. And Lord, may your Holy Spirit protect our men in blue who put their very lives on the line as they seek to serve and protect each of us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Here.
Buddy Holly.
Here.
Tim Johnson.
Here.
Kenny Me.
Here.
Sam Russell.
Here.
Lonnie Wright.
Here.
I'd like to declare a quorum. Motion to approve the minutes of the February 1st, 2022 meeting.
Make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Frost. Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Floor is open for any discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. Motion to pay the bills. Motion by Councilman Russell. Second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Wright. Councilman Russell.
No, sir.
Councilman Wright.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. This time we'll hear from delegation. If you'd like to address this council, please come up to the podium, state your name, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Nobody? All right, we'll move into reports. Treasurer report.
I have mine for the meeting afterwards.
Okay. Mr. Mason.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I'd like to start off tonight. My report is very brief, but I want to bring special attention. We had a situation happen Thursday afternoon. Y'all are aware of the fire that we had in West Hills. I was able to respond and stand and watch. I've heard stories of how fast a fire can spread and how much damage it can do, and you hear it on the news, but to see it in person, I was amazed when I pulled in at about right there at West Hills Drive and Scenic Drive, how much area and how fast it got covered. I tell you what I was even more impressed with was how quickly the Harriman Fire Department, Harriman Police Department responded. There were several houses that could have been completely engulfed in flames had it not been for the quick action of our Harriman Fire Department, Harriman Police Department. In conjunction, other units that responded were Harriman, the Kingston Fire Department, Rockwood Fire Department, Rome County Sheriff's Department, Rome County Emergency Services, along with the U.S. Forestry Service. But to coordinate all that fell under the Harriman Fire Department. And when I pulled up, and I'll turn it over here in just a second if Chief Daniels will say a word, but I asked Councilman Russell, I said, is that Chief up there? As soon as he pulled up, he went running up the hill, grabbed a fire hose, and probably saved the entire house from being engulfed in flames. And then immediately, as our firefighters arrived, they spread out as far as their hoses and had it under control very quickly. One of our police officers, Nicole Darby, she pulled up, didn't say a word, went right up the hill, grabbed a fire hose, and immediately started fighting the fire, and she's a police officer. What I found out later was she's also a trained firefighter as well. So I asked them to be here tonight just to be recognized and not to be outdone, because as it went down, as the sun went down and got darker, we had Deputy Michael Murphy, who responded from Rome County Sheriff's Department. He deployed his drone, and he was able to keep everybody safe, and the coordination between U.S. Forestry, all the other fire departments and show exactly where the hot spots were, and he stayed on. I don't know, Deputy, what time you left, but he did a fantastic job. It was just great to see such a joint effort, everybody fighting for the same cause, and they did a fantastic job. So I know, where's, I thought Nicole was here.
She was out in the water.
Okay, yeah. But, Chief, I didn't know if you or Assistant Chief wanted to say anything. Y'all stand up and be recognized, all of you. Yeah.
The only thing I got, guys, I would like to thank, all the people that checked on us, our community. I mean, it was something, just have people pull up and bring water, and when we had water, and bring food and dropping it off, and just checking to see if we needed anything. Councilman Russell, it's on our fire committee, checking on us, the mayor, our city manager staying up there, most of the scene, making sure that we didn't need no other resources, and sitting there with us, and, Officer Murphy bringing that drone was a major help. I mean, I didn't have to type a lot of manpower in certain areas. I could see everything on that screen and point, but this is where we need to go and all that. But I'm just thankful for all the citizens of Harriman, and thankful for all you guys and what you do. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. And here is our police officer, Nicole Darby, who, when she pulled up on the scene, went running up and grabbed the fire hose and really, like I said, surprised me. And then after she finished doing that, she ran traffic control and just did a great job for us as well. So we'll recognize her.
Yeah.
And Mike, stand up, Murph. And this, if you don't know Murphy, he's the one that brought our drone with the Roane County Sheriff's Department. Was a huge help. And just the outfit he brought really kept a lot of people safe and had information right there, and we knew exactly what to do. So thank you, Michael Murphy, for that. And I know it's a little crowded in here, so if y'all need to go, you're more than welcome. It's a night like tonight, as soon as we get our new council room up and running, have a lot more room.
Thank you guys for all you do. Appreciate you.
Wednesday, I had the opportunity to drive to Nashville and meet with Representative Calfee and Senator Yeager about not only everything that's going on in the city of Harriman, but also reached out and told us some issues we were having and asked for their help, mainly financially. We didn't come back with a check or anything, but at least they're very aware of what's going on, and so wanted to make them aware of that. It's just a quick day trip. Just a quick wrap up, we'll accept our RFPs, our closing date, and that's our historical survey grant. Those are due by 1 o'clock on Friday, and hopefully I'll have that on the agenda before you all in March for council approval so we can move forward with that grant. Also at one of our next workshops, I think y'all familiar with the Margrave project. That was bid out and it's sort of been dead in the water, but it was not successful because when it was bid out originally, all the bids came in $300,000 and $400,000 over that project. So Keita and I met with members from Vaughn and Melton. We've talked with TDOT, how we can resurrect that project. We're going to look at maybe trying to do some restructuring, hopefully be able to bring that back before you all and get that rolling. It's a great project. I'll share that with you as well if you don't have that on your email. Be looking around town. We've got some new signs that should be going up any day. Our welcome to Harriman City Limit signs, on our Kiwanis signs, also in our park signs. Councilman Russell's been a big help with that, so be looking for that. Should go up anytime as well. They finished the foundation work on our Temperance building, so we're currently taking bids now for the removal of that drywall. Just the first part of what Master Services did has made a huge impact on all 3 floors in the Temperance building. And following the workshop, we have Brian here from that's working on our comprehensive plan. He's going to be doing a public meeting on the Parks and Rec. A lot of this information you will get during our strategic planning, so you are more than welcome to stay after the workshop if you want to, but if you need to leave, you can certainly do that. I know some of y'all are on our police committee that will meet upstairs. And last on my report, we're so glad to have Keita back. She came back earlier, much earlier than expected, and been a huge asset to have her back in the building. And that's my report, Mayor, unless you have any questions.
Anybody have anything for city manager? Thanks for all the hard work. Appreciate it. So all the reports, this time we're going to new business. The first item, recognizing some young ladies here tonight. I'm going to turn that over to Martha, if it's okay with you all.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me be here and take the time at your council meeting. As a representative of Three Rivers Theater Company, I this summer got the idea that I wanted to have a scholarship competition, which is what they're called now. It's a scholarship competition that is a preliminary local to the Miss Tennessee pageant, and then from the Miss Tennessee pageant, whoever wins Miss Tennessee, of course, goes on to Miss America. One of my friends is currently Miss Tennessee, and I was interested in the way that the shape of the scholarship competition has changed. It's no longer called a pageant, it's no longer called a beauty pageant, there's nothing on the judge's sheet that has anything to do with their beauty. 30% of their score is about their social impact initiative and what they want to do for their community and for the world at large. It's more about being a professional development opportunity for young ladies that may or may not have that opportunity than it is a beauty pageant. There's no bathing suit competition, nothing like that. They have talent, social impact, on-stage interview, and what they call red carpet, which we all know as evening wear. So it's about the way a lady carries herself, what she's going to give back to her community, and as I said, to the world at large. So that really interested me because I feel like, again, that there are ladies that need someone that may be outside their family circle that can help them achieve things beyond what choices they may or may not have, right? So on February 5th, last weekend, we held the Miss Roane County pageant, scholarship competition. They're no longer called beauty queens, they are called candidates. And we had 6 ladies representing the Miss Roane County part of the program, and then 3 ladies representing the Miss Roane County Outstanding Team. That's ages 13 to 17, and then Miss Roane County is, of course, 18 to 26. Because we were able to have 6 candidates in the Miss category, the Miss Tennessee organization asked, could we crown another girl as a title holder, meaning that we would have 3 girls representing our area to go to Miss Tennessee, so that ups our chances, right? So we were gracious and happy to do that. So not with us tonight is also, not with us tonight is Ms. Greater Knoxville. She is a baton twirler, and she twirled a little too hard, and she's in crutches today, so she was not able to be with us. She is from the Knoxville area. And we're very excited that we were able to provide those 3 crowns. So again, that we have 3 representatives at the Miss Tennessee pageant for Miss Roane County and the area around it. But here with us tonight, we have your Miss Roane County, which is Tana Kirkland. Tana is a sophomore at Lee University. She has a beautiful voice. She sang a passage from Puccini's Madame Butterfly for her talent. Come on up, Tana, and say hello to everyone.
Thank you all for having us tonight. It really means a lot, and I'm really excited to pour into this community.
And tell us a little bit about your social impact statement, Tana. Just briefly, because they hate it when we make it long.
I'll keep it brief. So I'm a sociology and psychology double major, and I am an aspiring child forensic psychologist. So a lot of what I do in my studies in school is looking at-risk teens, and I've noticed that in Tennessee especially, there are so many young ladies who are in poverty, who are not able to receive the skills that they need to be successful adults. And so I would love to bring them here, but I host workshops that teach these at-risk young ladies job interview skills. We help them write resumes, give them mock interviews, and also just help them just with basic things such as how to write a check, how to open up a bank account. And so I really would love to bring this program here.
Thank you so much. So this is your Miss Roane County, ladies and gentlemen. What is And as I said, there is a teen part of the competition. And our team representative is a Harriman High School senior. Do you know where you're going to school yet, Anna?
Rose State.
She is going to Rome State after she graduates. So I'd like to introduce to you your Miss Rome County Outstanding Teen, Anna Cox. Anna, tell us a little bit about your social impact.
I would like to bring awareness to foster care and how a community can help foster parents.
Foster children.
Foster children,
Yeah,
yes.
and we have a need for that, correct?
Yes, there is a huge need. We have, in Tennessee, only half the families are available that we need. So we definitely need to, as a community, find ways to help them and encourage more parents to become foster parents.
Thank you, Anna. So Anna will be representing us, and Tana will be representing us at the Miss Tennessee pageant, which will be held in Memphis in June. Of course, all these ladies, they have money that they have to spend to go to these scholarship competitions. So I'd like to thank the city on behalf of making it possible for us to have had the competition to begin with, but just know that these ladies need sponsorships and help with things to get to their next level. So if you feel like you would like to contribute to the success of the program and of their journey, just get in touch with me, okay? And we'll figure that out. I appreciate you giving us the time tonight to let these ladies represent you, and I feel really good about what they'll do for Rome County and East Tennessee. Again, our Miss Greater Knoxville, her name is Marissa Mitchell, and she's a lovely girl, and you'll get to meet her next time. Okay? All right, thank you so much. Mayor, if I could get pictures with you, please? Can I get pictures with you? I'll take this one first. You don't want to get pictures. If you're mad, get up there. You ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. Going this way. 1, 2, 3. And then I gotta take one with Tana's. Tana and Anna. Oh, I didn't realize how cute that is. Yep. There you go. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
What you stand for?
Thank you.
Martha, before you leave,
Yes.
just want to say thank you for all you do. All the events, downtown Saturday for the Valentines that you put together. Just, it's good to come in and see all the stuff that you got going on. The decorating downtown, you're kind of instrumental in getting that going. I just want to say thank you for the heart that you have for Harriman and Rome County.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate having been given the opportunity to do that. So thank you. Bye.
Next time on the agenda, discuss and possibly approve appointment of Ginger Bernstein for the Temperance Building Committee. Motion to approve Ginger. Ginger lives here in Harriman. I've talked to her, and she's very excited about getting to work on the Temperance Building on the committee and see it get back to what it was in its glory days. So just a very exciting lady when you talk to her, and you guys will get to meet her and talk to her some, but she's very excited about getting on this committee and working.
Make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Russell.
Second.
Second by Councilman Frost. Councilman Russell.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Frost.
Yes.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenny Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve appointment of Don Conley for the Industrial Development Board. As most of you all know, Don lives up on Cumberland Street in his life. I think he works at Rome State. He's been involved with some things we've had going on, and I think Don would be good on the Industrial Development Board. Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Meade. Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilman Meade.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Cross,
Yes.
Buddy Holly, Tim Johnson,
Yes.
Kenny Me,
Yes.
Sam Russell,
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve appointment of Dina Jackson to the Industrial Development Board.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Wright, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Meade. Councilman Wright.
Motion.
Councilman Meade.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Brian Cross,
Yes.
Buddy Holly,
Yes.
Tim Johnson,
Yes.
Kenny Me,
Yes.
Sam Russell,
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. That's all we have on our agenda tonight. I know we've got a full slate after the council meeting with a workshop and then the rec and police board. This time we're going to council remarks. Councilman Russell.
No, sir.
Councilman Frost.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
No, sir.
Councilman Wright.
Motion.
Councilman Holly.
No, sir.
Councilman Meade.
Yes, I want to, since the industrial board made me think about it again when I saw it on the agenda. You know, we have different committees, we have a lot of volunteers on these boards that not compensated, that, you know, we put out there and ask them to do things. And the industrial board's one of the big ones that we've asked them to do that with. And one of the big pieces of real estate they have left is the hospital. So if I'm not mistaken, they've got a called meeting on the 22nd next week, and that meeting is to discuss the selling of the hospital. I think as a council, since we had, and it might have been other council members on here at the time, or we voted on what we want to do, we need to convey better to these boards what we'd like. I mean, we're asking them to do something, and they're going out and they're taking their, you know, their approach at it. We've tried many different things with the hospital. And we voted here, along with the loan for this building, to actually take a loan for removing the hospital. Got bids on it, 1.1, 1.2 million range, got low interest rates now. Well, it's my understanding, and from getting minutes from their meeting and talking to the city manager, is that they've got an offer on the board. And I'm just, you know, we'll make sure everybody here is aware of it, because we typically don't get meeting minutes from all these other committees. Whether beer board, industrial board, rec. So just hear kind of what they have going on. One of the things that, and if I'm wrong on any of this, Scott, Wayne, if y'all know what's going on, you can correct me.
What I put on here, I think it's Monday.
It's Monday.
Monday, yeah.
I'm sorry.
First.
Check it out. But anyway,
Off track, but
what we've tasked them to do, and they're going ahead and doing it, is they're reviewing one from Paranormal Group out of South Pittsburgh. We've decided that they're going into negotiation with them, I understand. And the hospital building is I remind everybody, it's the largest piece of real estate in downtown. We hadn't had an appraisal in a while. I'm sure it's well over $1 million still appraised at. And yeah, we've offered the VA, you know, $1 lease on the thing for 99 years. However, with doing it with a organization, you know, they're tasked with going into looking at what's the building's worth. Are they going to be financially stable enough to do it? So we're going to be selling the hospital for $5,000 for 5 years. So a total of $25,000 the hospital's being sold for. We've talked about it, but we've never taken this shot at having a realtor actually put this on the market and get different people come in and give them proposals. So we kind of left them out on that side as far as should we do that. Like I said, again, to borrow the money right now would be cheaper to do than it'll be in 5 years when we get it back. And we do need to get an appraisal on it, because if it does go to them, you're talking, that's going back on the tax roll. $50,000 or better probably a year in taxes, not counting the utilities. One of the other things we need to look at is the age of the building. We need to, even if they do pick parts of it they want to keep, we need to have it surveyed, have it set up where we can tear down what we still want to tear down. We need to get out in front of it and actually maybe have a joint meeting with our industrial board, something we should have done, I don't know, once a year anyway, and I know we had never done it. So we just pass along to them, and whoever the chairman is at the time, I guess, gets kind of an agenda from the mayor and now the city manager,
to tell them what, how we want to go about it. So I'm not in favor of giving up a piece of real estate to something that is not we've looked at universities, we've looked at VA, got close on a few of the universities. So I'm thinking right now, do we really want to keep that liability on our fire department of having to go over and take care of that thing in the event of a fire? You've got vandalism going on there now, people living in it, police have to go over there and take care of that. Is it worth the risk that we're keeping for a business that we've looked at their South Pittsburgh operation? Harriman doesn't compare to South Pittsburgh. We got, major interstate going through here. We support enough. We support the majority of Roane County school system in our taxes that we pay in. So we're nowhere near the South Pittsburgh and needing saving of downtown. It's just something that I know I was on here. I think Councilman Ayler was on at the time, Lonnie, maybe, but anyway, I'm not sure who all was on there, but our agenda was, and we voted for taking the building down. So I don't know if all of you all have been aware of that, what we're doing with it now and selling it for 25 grand, but before next Monday's meeting, we ought to have something where the members of the industrial board will have kind of what we were looking at doing with it. Because like I said, we're throwing them into it, volunteer work, using up their time, driving to South Pittsburgh, having special call meetings. We're putting a lot on them. And it's going to come down to the burdens left on the city, no matter how you look at it. If, for example, they're looking at the parking lot, paranormal group says they promised to let us use the parking lot whenever we want. It's still ours now. Take the parking lot off of it, put it in the contract, we will use it. I mean, it's city property now, so we should be the one dictating, not taking their contract or their drawn up lease or whatever we're calling it, buy, sell, whatever it's happening, and try to go to them. We need one set up where our city attorney is working with the industrial board's attorney saying, yeah, I agree, this is the right direction the city needs to go in. Anyway, we voted on it, and that's how we were going to do it. We didn't say, this is the bid, this is the low bid, and this is going to tear the hospital down. That was probably never conveyed to them. They were still on the mission to go out and sell the thing, which is not bad, not a bad idea. But now that we're down to the wire on it, we're negotiating with the group to take it over. We've turned down a lot of other groups for different reasons. We've turned down a paranormal group for it. And a lot of people might say it's $1.2 million we're going to spend on taking the hospital down. Not a good investment. We heard the same thing on the Princess Theater. Why would you spend that much money? The $1.8 million, another $200,000 grant. So $2 million in, and it looks good over there, and everything's turned out good with it. So we do spend millions of dollars in the city for what ends up being at the best at the time, what the city can do with it. So if anybody else has got any other comments or anything, or would like to, let us know if you have heard about this or whatever, please do.
If I'm not mistaken, we had a workshop to discuss what we was gonna do with it. I don't know if you wasn't here or not, Councilman, but we did discuss it. We talked about when it was, and when we was turning it over. Of course, the hospital was turned over to the Industrial Development Board before most of us was ever here. And that was under the previous administration. That building was turned over. It wasn't ours. I didn't know that. When I found out that it didn't belong to us, that's when I started meeting with the Industrial Development Board saying it's really your property, it's not ours. Industrial Development Board is not the city of Harriman, it's the Industrial Development Board. They're their own, they're set up under us, but they are the Industrial Development Board. Under Project 15, 16, whatever it was, the hospital was one of the buildings that was turned over to them, along with the other buildings downtown, and we didn't have a say-so in any building that was sold downtown. The city of Harriman did it. It was sold through the Industrial Development Board. But the Industrial Development Board knew that we had talked about tearing it down. They knew that we had voted on tearing it down, but when they had somebody come and offer to want to buy, that, to them, when they done the research, made sense that's when they started going that way. From a city standpoint, if you ask me if do I think it's a good investment, I've got my own opinion. I think when we looked at tearing it down, it was 1.1 to tear down the new part and 600,000 or 700,000 to tear down the old part, so it was closer to $2 million to tear it down. If we've got a company that couldn't come in here and generate new business and new people, and we're not going to tear it down, my thought was, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work, and the industrial board comes back to us in 4 or 5 years and says this didn't work, we're going to tear it down, at least we gave it a shot. Now, that's my opinion. I've talked to, I think, every business on Rome Street about it, and every business on Rome Street is excited about what's going on, and I think that most everybody here has heard the plan of the group out of South Pittsburgh. Their plan sounds good. They're looking at a line that will go from South Pittsburgh to Harriman to Brushy Mountain, where they're doing the same thing, and they're looking at this being a destination. And there's a big following for that. I didn't know that. I researched it to look, but there's a big following. So I think what people thought was it would generate new people coming to Harriman that's not coming now. And I've had a lot of questions about what goes where, who does what. I've had my concerns, and I have voiced those to the Industrial Development Board. I came to their meeting and voiced it. But I trust that we set that board there to make decisions, and I trust the decisions that they make because they're the ones that's researching. We can research it if we choose, but we appointed that board to do those things, and I trust everybody on there that they're doing it. And I understand they're volunteers, but I trust that they're going to bring back the best decision that's going to represent the city of Harriman and the best interest for Harriman in the future. That's me. Now, you guys may feel different, but that property belonged to them before I came here, and I didn't know that because I was over there, let's tear it down, let's do this. I didn't know that it belonged to the Industrial Development Board until we pulled the thing, and I called them, the property's yours, it's not ours. You guys may have a different feeling, but that's what I feel.
I want to say something. We were all asked multiple times by the city manager to go tour their facility in Pittsburgh. We got emails and texts, and so I don't know how we don't know about it, if we don't know about it. But I called personally their mayor in Pittsburgh, talked to their chief of police. They all spoke very highly of it. Because my concern was that, like you said, it would be a place to get broke into, and they were very adamant that they had stopped the vagrancy around their hospital.
Well, I understand that, and I'm saying, I can see the emails and I know how to read and you don't have to visit. So, and another thing is, we represent citizens of Harriman, we don't represent their mayor and their police chief and everybody else. It's good to get opinions and know what's going on with the business. And then, as far as that goes, Wayne, we've been involved in every piece of property that the industrial board sold. We're even trying to make ourselves involved in people who bought the properties when they resell the property. For example, they're talking about at the end of 5 years, they'd like to turn it into a bed and breakfast. Because there again, if you read the emails we get, that stuff's in there. If you ask for them and you get the stuff, which I asked for it and Scott was able to provide, is the only reason I knew about this. The only reason I knew about this is because citizens of Harriman have brought it up to me. Said, hey, I've talked to so-and-so and this is what's going on. But they're, like I said, back on they're going to make it a bed and breakfast. Where's their parking going to be? Did we not have Kim Inman come have to lease parking spaces? I know Mr. Ayler was on the board then because we had to set up a place to lease it back here by the tanning salon. We've been involved in every other one of them back through there. We've told them, hey, we want these to be residential. We don't want you to market those house-looking structures as commercial. And that's what the industrial board did. So to say we blindly just turned it over to the industrial board, we have absolutely not. And
I've not been to meetings that they voted to sell anything.
So we weren't in any of the meetings, we didn't talk to anybody, and you've not had any conversation with the people in the industrial board about, hey, don't sell that property to them, because where's their parking gonna be? We were just in one 8 months ago when, Mr. Crass was trying to sell his big apartment building over there, and we told him, oh, you don't have parking, because the office next to it, they didn't wanna have, another apartment, not knowing if it's gonna be low income. We tried selling it to Harriman Housing Authority.
What
Tried
does
to
that
get
have to do with the industrial development board? We own that parking as the city of Harriman, not as the industrial development.
Okay, then why were we, when I say we a lot, and maybe it shouldn't be, why were you talking to Harriman Housing Authority about getting in that apartment building? I'm just saying,
That wasn't an industrial development board building. That belonged to a private individual, and they leased the property from the city of Harriman. If it's the city of Harriman, I'm involved. You know, industrial development board, I talk to them, I meet with them, I go to their meetings, I participate. But
all
as
I'm getting
far
is
as-
they get a lot of guidance out of the mayor, and a lot of the guidance, even, not just you, previous mayors. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's probably how it should be now, you or the city manager. However, when you were on the board and we decided to buy this and do demolition on the hospital, was that ever conveyed to the industrial board?
Yes. Mr. Don Henley, you can ask him, he's chairman of the industrial board. We talk regularly, and I told him we was buying this property and we was looking at tearing the hospital down because there was no use for it. And I didn't go find the paranormal group, or I don't think anybody did. They came here and they brought it to the industrial development board. They looked at it and they chose. We didn't choose. We didn't have anything to do with the choosing. I did go to the board and question some of the things because I do have an interest as to what happens as the mayor and as you council do. We have an interest, and we have the liberty to voice that to them and go to their meetings. They're open to the public, and talk to them and ask them what is going on. I did that, and I brought that back, and we've talked about it in a workshop. But I don't, I do not, and have not, there's people in here that sat on the industrial board. I've never went and told them, you gotta do this, or you gotta do that, or you can't do that, or you can't do that. I don't do that. But I do ask, what's their long term? What are they gonna do here? Are they gonna board windows up? Are they gonna do this? I'm concerned with what happens to that hospital, because as you said, it is the biggest piece of real estate in downtown. And what happens with that building is very crucial to our downtown and to our people. But I do know this, I do know that I have had multiple people tell me they're excited that we're not tearing that building down, because it carries a lot of sentimental value to a lot of people. And they're excited with what's going on. If there's other people that's not, I haven't heard from them. Doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything. I just haven't heard from them. I have only heard positives. I haven't heard any negatives. But I do know this. I do know that I trust our industrial development board, and I do know that they did go to South Pittsburgh. They did their research. They've done their due diligence, and I trust them. I trust that they're doing what's best for Harriman. But when I came here, everybody knows what my thought process was. The hospital was going to be our new city hall, our fire department, our police department, everything was going to that building. Not this one. This one wasn't even in the equation. That's where we was going, to redo that building, because we was paying so much money a year to keep it up for nothing in it. We got that estimate, $13 million. We all know what it came back at, $13 million for us to go in that building and redo it to get what we needed. When we could buy a building here for $175,000 and spend, $300,000 to get it what we needed. So this is the direction we decided to go, instead of spending $13 million on that.
Well, who paid for that? For them to come in and do the assessment and what it costs for the $13 million that they're asked. I remember, and most of us in here were there and voted on it.
Mhm.
And who paid the bill for that? We did. Why would we step in and pay for a bill on that when it belonged to the industrial board? Should we have spent our money that way? That's what I'm saying. We are heavily involved with the industrial board. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it won't be a great business if it happens. I'm just saying that wasn't the direction that we want them to go in. And to say that we're not involved in them is wrong. Because we are. We should be very much involved with them. And then we come out, and I see on the agenda when I got it from Mr. Mason, we were gonna possibly look at bringing 60 other properties in the city of Harriman and voting on make portions of them at a time to turn them over to the industrial board. I never knew of that. So when I saw that on their agenda, I asked Mr. Mason and he sent it to me. So there's a lot goes on outside of the people like me that just try to look at the minutes and do my little bit of research and come down here after work and do things. But I do look at it. I might not come across with it the right way, but I do look at it and I can read it and tell you what it says. And I'm just saying, we're looking at another direction with the hospital. So if anybody's got any concerns, because obviously a lot of the citizens don't know that. You've talked to some who are for it, and I've talked to some who aren't for it. So, I agree. There's both sides, and everybody's got their opinion on it. So,
And I don't know how you voice that to people. It's on the front page of the newspaper. It's been out there. You've
It's
got
been out
just
there
as
in the
big as far as I
newspaper.
am. The council room is usually empty. People, if they was interested, they'd come to council meetings and find out what's going on in our
not
city.
necessarily. You can't say just because you don't show up.
And I'm not saying that. I'm saying if they had an interest, I haven't been called. City manager, have you been called with a complaint about it?
No,
I
Have you ever been approached with somebody concerned about it?
I really just want to know what was going on, if it was going to get torn down, what was coming, when they were coming.
Okay.
Mayor Best, could I comment for a minute on this? So, one of the critical aspects that's not being discussed here is the whole purpose of the industrial board formation, which I was on the industrial board, I was one of the original members of it, was to create a separation. The entity, the reason the industrial board was created was to create separation from the city. The city is responsible for properties to the degree that they can sell them, but they can only sell them at auction. That means anybody, highest bidder, gets it. What do they do with it? The city loses total control. We had 14 properties left over from the deal with the hospital. We did not want to leave those 14 properties in the hands of who knows would show up to the auction. So what happened was the industrial board was formed in order to, and this has happened in many municipalities, in order to control who comes in and buys their properties. Let's look at what happens when there is no control over who buys the properties. We have Mr. Jin K come buy properties, fill them full of junk, and then they burn down. All right, let's look at the alternative before we get really, intense about the criticism of the industrial board and how the city works with it. I think that's very important, number one. Number two is that control allows us to bring about a long-term plan as far as what we want to happen in downtown here. It prevents it from becoming a storage facility. So I think that when you look at the effectiveness of the board to this point, by the way, I've lived in downtown for 10 years now, and since Prospect 14, I've noticed a significant uptick in the amount of investment in the commercial area in downtown Harriman. I think that's critically important to note as well. So the final thing is, I was at the industrial board meeting where they discussed this deal with the individuals. Their trip to South Pittsburgh was very enlightening, because what it did was it showed exactly the kind of funding, the business model this company has, and I think what is, I would say, the likelihood of success with this company. So, do I give it a stamp of approval? That's not my position. It's not my job to do that, really, to give it a stamp of approval from a business perspective. What I know is that building has sat empty for about 10 years. We have tried to market that building. When I was on council with you, we tried to market that building. There was virtually no interest. So this is really the first offer that we've had in 10 years of genuine interest with real money behind it. I think the industrial board has done a phenomenal job vetting this company, from what I understand, and that's all that we can ask them to do. So I look forward to seeing what happens. I'm hopeful that this company, this deal goes through, simply because this is an asset. Just as you said, it is the largest asset in downtown Harriman. So that means for it not to be occupied for 10 years is the biggest loss in downtown Harriman.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Prospect Fork then. Yeah, it was a great thing. We got it started. I was there, I was for it. I understand what's going on with it. I'm glad you brought it up and how the businesses have been successful, some of them anyway, that have bought it. Not all of them have. Your business was next to one of them for a while that we dealt with. So there are, plus and minuses to it, but it was the Harriman City Council that said how they wanted those buildings to be, and it wasn't the industrial board, and we gave them some guidance. I'm glad they're doing their due diligence and going out and looking at stuff. Do not get me wrong. Like I said, they're doing this on their own dime. They're volunteering to do it because they want to help their community. I have nothing against that. But when it comes down to it, the Harriman City Council said, yeah, make apartments or make another business upstairs, but don't put them on the ground floor. Don't store them. We changed that and we made those things happen for the industrial board to sell it. So, that was stuff that, for sit there and say they're totally separated is just miscommunication to people. It's not totally separated, so, anyway.
Everything else, Councilman?
That's it.
Only thing I have is just thanking everybody for working the fire and everything that went on in Harriman. We've got a quick workshop.
Very quick.
Okay. Motion to adjourn. Motion. Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign?